Divine Ugochukwu is in the portal. We did a video on him being in the portal at some point in the last couple of weeks, but now
Yeah,
we have.
yeah, I did, Greg. I did with Dion. And it was a conversation surrounded about how it'd be a good ad for Kentucky, considering that it would be like their 13th or 14th guy.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. Mark Pope came out and said, we're done with our rotation, basically. We're looking for a couple depth pieces. And then, like, an hour later, it was like, Kentucky is Zoom calling Divine Ugochukwu. Well, since then, it sounds like Kentucky is not a serious option. Whatever happened on those Zoom calls, it just appears this recruitment has trended in a different direction. What has happened with Divine Ugochukwu? Three schools have emerged as serious contenders for his services, one being the Michigan State Spartans, one being the USC Trojans, one being the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I believe it was 24/7 High School Hoops, Sam Kaiser, who was sharing some reporting on this. Those are the three schools recruiting him the hardest. And then over the weekend, it was reported from Sam that Michigan State was back on the Zoom calls with Divine, and USC planning to have a Zoom the next day. If you are hearing behind the scenes on this, I think this made its way through the Trilly Discord and some other places, but the early rumor was that Texas Tech is the school to beat here, but that Michigan State and USC are certainly trying to make up ground. And this would fill, for a Michigan State perspective, this would fill the guard depth thing that we've heard the Michigan State staff so often prioritizes right now. So, okay, what's your reaction? Your school is trying to get in on Divine Ugochukwu, Texas Tech, and USC are the two to beat.
Well, it's interesting because like obviously Texas kid, Texas Tech, I think there's going to be some natural pull there. Um, I just in my head, just the surface level, if Michigan State was going for a point guard that didn't necessarily maybe have the threat to start over Jeremy Fears or something like that, and we're just literally out there searching for a backup point guard, I would hope that there would be higher settings, I guess, than Divine, who last year made 6 3-point attempts, was 6 for 34, shot 17%, and played for one of the worst Power Five teams in the country, a disaster of a team. Not necessarily a good free throw shooter, doesn't really even get there. Um, he's athletic, I will give him that. And defensively, I think he shows some things, but for a team that could use maybe some shooting from their backup point guard when they don't necessarily get that, some shooting, some scoring from the backup point guard that they don't get from their starting point guard. It's a very underwhelming option, in my opinion.
I don't mind it to fill what Michigan State seems to want, which is like get us a backup point guard. But I say this every time this conversation comes up. I don't understand why that's what they want. I don't understand why Michigan State seems to be aggressive only for someone who is going to be told, "Hey, you're playing behind Jeremy Fears." I would be trying to get someone better that could play next to Jeremy Fears and also serve a role behind him. I don't see Divine Ugochukwu as that. As you laid out, he's a kid that I think does have some upside long term that could develop into this. He's a big guard, really truly like a big point guard, but he can't shoot at all. 17% from three on very low attempts, 63% from the free throw line on 46 attempts. I don't know. It was a messy, ugly first season on a really bad Miami team. Nothing about his on court results, I think, would scream belief in this kid. But again, if you're Michigan State and you're just solely after a backup, I think it's a pretty great option as a backup if you can land him. Are you going to land anyone with that pitch, though? This video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. We have a special offer for you. Promo code SLEEPERS. If you're a first-time depositor, they will give you a bonus up to $1,000 that matches 50% of your first deposit, plus a free pick. And tonight's free pick is focused on none other than Steph Curry. Card, I got a question for you. How many points does Steph Curry average?
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and say 29.
I don't have it in front of me, but that sounds about right. Certainly more than zero, I assume.
Of course.
Well, tonight's free pick, Steph Curry to score 1 point, higher than zero point 0.5 points. It's as much of a guarantee as you can possibly get. Underdog Fantasy, deposit as a first time user, put in promo code SLEEPERS. Make sure you get that deposit match bonus up to $1,000 and the Steph Curry free pick. Back to the video. Like, I just keep hearing like that's the pitch, whether it's international targets, whether it's Adams, whether it's this kid. I can't imagine you're going to convince Divine Ugochukwu or anyone to like just come be Jeremy Fears' backup for 10 minutes a game, especially when the other two schools, Texas Tech and USC, we know are bag dropping schools. They've spent big money on big players this cycle, and presumably Texas Tech would at least be floating the idea of big minutes at the two. Maybe they're lying, but Texas Tech is a school that is still recruiting like guards to play, not guards to back up Christian Anderson. So I think like if the report that Texas Tech is the leader here is true, that makes sense to me. They seem to have the biggest need at the guard spot right now. Honestly, their need isn't bigger than Michigan State's, but it's bigger than what the Michigan State staff is pitching people on, and they have deeper bags than I think USC or Michigan State. Is that a fair read?
The thing is, I don't think he would play at Texas Tech.
Just not good enough?
Yeah. So like to be honest, I think if you pitching him to be a actually have a chance to be a backup, I think would be good for him. And now I don't know what USC's pitch is. Maybe they are, offering him to. So I don't think any team, at least, and I might be way off to be honest with you, but I don't see any team coming in like, hey, come in, you're gonna have a chance to start or play major minutes. At least not this year.
Okay, but like what is actually good for him or what could he fill versus what's being promised are two very different things.
Hmm.
I don't think you get a kid telling him like, "Yeah, you're not good enough. You're going to play 8 minutes." Like Texas Tech may lie and then not play him, but also like their options on the wing right now are Donovan Atwell, Tyree Bryan. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all guys that are astronomically better than Divine.
Yeah, in theory.
Nah, like actually they are.
Like they're just better.
They're just better. Like I listen. I truly think I floated it that Divine might do himself a favor by maybe even going down a level. So like, maybe I'm wrong and off base on this one because obviously the schools that are after him say that is different. But it's just what is he? Let's say Michigan State was like come in and you have a like okay you got the spot to two. I'd be that backcourt is scary, not in a good way.
Is he better than Trey Fort?
No,
Is he better than Kurtang?
I say no.
Okay.
Do you think he's better than both?
No. I mean, what he's done so far, no. But like Trey Fort is probably the best guy on paper, but I think Trey Fort's upside is probably lower than the other two. Like you got 3 more years of Divine, 3 more years of Kurtang
That's fair.
versus whatever the finished product of Trey Fort will look like in the Big Ten. And if we are like stack ranking this, Divine was better than Kurtang last year because Kurtang didn't play.
Mm,
So like, but I guess that's just my confusion here is like even if it's true, I think in order to go get a player worthy, you've just got to pitch something better than come back up these guys. And it doesn't sound like that's what Michigan State's doing, which I don't think is going to lead to success, right? Like there's no reason for Divine to choose Michigan State over the others here if that's the pitch.
yeah, I agree. Unless he just sees that he would not. I don't think he would play for Texas Tech.
But if he wouldn't play at Texas Tech,
Maybe USC then.
well, like, isn't the bag still bigger at those? And we're
Yeah,
saying he probably wouldn't play anywhere here.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
tough part.
So just to go secure the biggest
Like,
bag.
I'm getting PTSD to Painter conversations last offseason, dude, where it's like, promise something. Like, even if you don't mean it, just promise. Get the kid through the door. And I know that's not how Michigan State operates, but God, you've really narrowed the field on who's going to come play in the backcourt then. If all that's
Yeah,
being promised is
I
backup
want I want to throw promises. I do not want to throw promises this way.
at Divine Ugochukwu.
Yeah.
So you're really out on this kid.
I don't think that he's a major minutes guy on a good basketball team.
Okay.
I think he can play 20 minutes on a team that wins 7 games.
You might be right. I'm less out on it than you are, but here we are. I guess
But
we'll
also,
see.
what's the phrase? Beggars can't be choosers. I'll take a body, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I think there's a little upside here. I really do. Big size, decent passer. I don't know. Yeah, I could see him being totally different 3 years from now than he is now, but we'll see. Where do you think he goes?
I think Texas Tech gets it done.
Yeah, I feel like the reports that they're the leader make sense given need and given money. I'd be surprised if it's not Texas Tech.